On October 22nd, 2025, Reddit user WonderTM posted to the 2007scape subreddit that there is a guy in the Edgeville Bank in World 499 and all he does is eat trout. Very quickly, a lot of players started to gather around Troutman and cheer him on as he ate as much trout as he could. But I don't know, something smells fishy. You know, this has not been the first time that people have grifted other RuneScape players using trout. So let's take a brief history lesson before we explore the truth about Troutman. You see, this all started 8 years ago in December of 2017. There was a guy at the Grand Exchange selling 13 trout at a time. Now, some people took notice of this and Goody made a video where he started selling 13 trout at the Grand Exchange. And because he looks like such a noob, people were willing to give him exorbitant amounts of money. By just dressing up as a noob, Goody made 1.7 million GP in an hour just by selling trout. After this video, a lot of other people started selling trout in the Grand Exchange and a lot of people fell for this grift, but it quickly died over the coming months. But now, 7 years later, it appears we have another trout grift on our hands. A grift so well constructed that it has been picked up by the official RuneScape page multiple times. So let's explore the basic concept of this grift before we dive into the raw data as we do best on this channel. You see, RuneScape players are into some weird shit, and sometimes that weird shit involves watching a guy through a window at the Edgeville Bank eating 500,000 trout. And the guy eating the trout stands to make money in a couple of ways. One is of course attention, which leads into direct donations. For example, the very first livestream that our Troutman did was on the 19th of October 2025. It was a 14.5-hour stream, and in just trout donations, he started the stream with approximately 10,000 trout, and he ended with 374,000, most of which were acquired through donations. This means he profited 364,000 trout over the course of his stream, and if we look at the market price of trout on the 19th of October, then we see that he would have had a value of 21.84 million GP made over the course of a single stream in just trout. Now, he can also get donations of the non-trout persuasion, but those are way harder to track, so we're just gonna leave it at the trout donations for now. The other way that this person can make money is, of course, by increasing the demand for trout. Everyone wants to be a part of Troutman's adventure, and everyone wants to give this man more trout to eat. If he wants to make his goal of eating 500,000 trout, he is gonna need a lot more. And that is what we saw happening on the Grand Exchange. Let's take a look. But first, you didn't think that you could watch a GamecubeJona video and not get a statistics lesson, right? Well, you're not getting a statistics lesson, but you are getting an economics lesson, namely in supply and demand. Because market manipulation is a weird thing, and in order to get it, we need to understand a few basic economic concepts. See, the Grand Exchange works kind of like an order book, which means that on the one side we have buy offers, which is people wanting to buy trout for a certain price, let's say 800 trout for 59 GP, and on the other side we have sell orders, and let's say that the lowest price people are willing to sell for at this time is 60 GP, and they have put 1,000 trout up for sale. Then we see a 1 GP spread between the bid and the ask price. Now, in our case, a spread of 1 GP means that it is a narrow spread. This means that buyers and sellers largely agree on the value of the item, and this results in a high liquidity, low volatility, and a stable price. And a good approximation of the market price is given by the midpoint, which is the average between the lowest sell order and the highest buy order. And especially if you have an item trading at high volumes, this is a reasonable indicator of your price. You see, for most stable Grand Exchange items, the buy to sell ratio is approximately equal to 1, which means that the amount of people placing buy orders is approximately equal to the people placing sell orders. This means that the market will usually resolve around the same price that it previously resolved at, and the price remains stable. But so now, what happens if more and more people want to buy trout? Well, there is not more trout in the game all of a sudden, and so the supply does not increase. But more and more people are trying to buy trout to donate to this one person eating 500,000 trout, and so what will happen is the demand will increase while the supply remains the same. This means that the buy to sell ratio is gonna go up. A way I like to visualize it is this. Imagine the entire buyer's market as a single person, and they just want to buy 500,000 trout at whatever cost. Well, if we look at the sell orders in the order book, we see that at 60 GP, there's only 100,000 trout available. That means that the 400,000 trout that the people want is gonna have to come at a higher price. This means we're gonna climb through the sell order book, buying up every GP threshold until we get our 500,000 trout. And this has driven the price up from 60 GP all the way to 140 GP. So now that we know how prices increase in a change in demand, the real question becomes, did Troutman actually take advantage of this increase in price? Or is he just a nice guy eating some trout? Well, some observant Reddit user noticed something. On a stream on the 23rd of October, Troutman had 878,000 trout in the bank. Troutman then proceeds to end that stream and start a new one 6 hours later, and now there's only 513,000 trout in the bank. This means that 365,000 trout disappeared in 6 hours. Now, can you eat 365,000 trout in 6 hours? Well, no. And actually, Jagex has given us the data for this. You see, since Troutman started his adventure, he has only eaten 25,987 trout. And on October 23rd, he only ate 1.8k trout. That means that all the other trout that disappeared between the streams must have been sold off to the Grand Exchange. And if we look at the actual data, the proof is in the pudding. From the 23rd of October onwards, we see large spikes in volumes on the daily trades of trout. The average price over the 23rd of October was approximately 130 GP per trout. If our trout lord sold off all of his 365,000 that disappeared from the bank, he made 47.45 million GP just from selling off the excess trout. Now, this could have all been one happy accident, and he just happened to have more trout than he needed for his 500k goal. And then, why shouldn't he sell off his excess trout? And that's a fair argument, but there's some other information about this Troutman situation that doesn't sit quite right with me. You see, the Reddit user that posted about Troutman in the first place on the 22nd of October said that he's eaten nearly 100,000 trout already. But if we believe Jagex's data, Troutman has only eaten 25,000. So why would this Reddit user blatantly lie about the amount of trout that Troutman has eaten, except to maybe blow up the post a little bit more? And isn't it a little suspicious that this post was the very first post by this newly created Reddit user? I'll leave the speculation to you. What do you think? Is Troutman good? Is he bad? Is he an innocent man just eating his way through life? Or is he a con artist scamming us for millions and millions of GP and manipulating the market in the process? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you next time.